Hi everybody, my name is Victoria. Welcome back to my channel, and it's been a few weeks since I've popped on to update you on my reading life. Life has been crazy, just generally. It's been just professionally very busy and also like personally very busy and sort of full of drama. So I'm looking forward to the summer where things are gonna maybe calm down a little bit, I hope. So I have books in mind and that I have been reading or in the middle of. I haven't done a wrap up in a while because I'm reading so slowly that I think what I'm going to do is just do a spring reading wrap up at the end of May, and then I can wrap up March, April, May together. I think across March and April, I've only actually finished 3 books, and I've read parts of other things and have started other things, but for some reason have only finished 3 books. So it's just the pace. It's just the pace that I'm going. It's a slow pace, but it's what is necessary right now. So I thought we would talk about my May TBR going forward, but I did want to mention that I will do a spring reading wrap up because I don't really like putting out TBR videos before I do a wrap up. And I haven't done a wrap up for March or April. I'm pretty sure I didn't do one for March. So I have a lot to catch you up on, but I think we'll wait. We'll wait till the end of May and I'll do a spring reading wrap up. So anyways, all that to say, I do have a May TBR, but it's also more like a May-June TBR because my first 2 weeks of May are very jam-packed with work obligations. So once I get through like the first half of May, my busyness for work kind of drops off a bit. So I have goals for May, but probably won't read a lot until the second half of May. So a lot of this will go into June. Okay, I feel like I'm very long-winded today with my explanations. So let's start with the things that I'm in the middle of. And so let me find my, well, I guess I could pull it from behind me, but I have it on my Kindle so you can kind of see it there. I'm about 50%, I'm over 50% through Words of Radiance, have been reading this for a few months, and I just read a little bit before I go to bed pretty much, and that's why it's taking so long. But yeah, over 50% of the way through, really enjoying it. Words of Radiance is still cementing itself as maybe my favorite Stormlight Archives book. So we'll see how we feel by the time we get to the end. But yeah, still working my way through this one, in case you were wondering. And then I'm in the middle of this one, Life, the Universe, and Everything. Life, the Universe, and Everything. This is the 3rd book in the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams. And I think I'll finish this pretty soon. I can tell you so far that it's more abstract to me, like as far as the plot and what we're following. It's a lot more abstract ideas, and sometimes it feels like I'm floating in outer space trying to like grab onto something and to find a plot, because it's very weird how this book is structured. I am enjoying it. I still find myself laughing. I actually think this one is extremely clever and smart. I just have a hard time finding the plot. I'm like, what am I actually following? But I'm also enjoying the experience still because it's Douglas Adams and I'm very much enjoying his books. So very, very strange first impression, but I'm about halfway through, I would say, maybe actually more than halfway through. So I should be finishing this one pretty soon. I was hoping to finish it in April, but it did not happen. So here it is. We'll finish that soon. And, oh, the other thing that I'm reading currently is The Demon of Unrest by Erik Larson. This is a nonfiction book about the Civil War, specifically about Abraham Lincoln's beginnings and pre-beginnings. So what was going on in America right before Abraham was elected, and what was the state of America, and the beginnings of the Civil War, basically. And this has been fascinating. I am a person who did not love history in high school, and I have to say probably the class I paid attention to least was American history, unfortunately. And I've always kind of regretted that, and I have wanted to learn more about American history and to understand where I live and the history of where I live. So this has been really, really interesting. I'm enjoying this very much. And it's been a while since I've read a nonfiction, so I was overdue. I was high due for a nonfiction. Erik Larson does a really good job of steeping you in the time. And I really like how he takes individuals and he kind of does a deep dive into them. And through that deep dive of that individual, it also gives you a lot of other information too, but it makes it more like story-like when you're following a person and kind of like getting to know that person as a real person rather than a historical figure, as we would read in like a history textbook. He does a really good job of like bringing them to life. And another thing that just keeps striking me in this book is how, you know, as a modern person, I feel like sometimes we think that times have never been as bad as they are in our own current time. And when you read history, it's very eye-opening because they thought that too. They thought the world has never been as bad as it's been right now. And so I just find that really fascinating that we have those same thoughts that people in other time periods had. Just that like society is going to the dogs. And I feel like we think that about our own time all the time. And so there's always negative things to dwell on in our political sphere and our lives. But man, things were really bad at the beginning of the Civil War. So it's like, whew, man, I'm kind of glad I didn't grow up in the Civil War. There was so much turmoil and so much to fear and so much death and division. And so it's just been interesting to kind of draw the parallels between history and now. But yeah, really, really, really liking this. Enjoying reading a nonfiction. Okay, so things that I would like to read that will be May, probably June also. So once I finish this one, I always have a book in a series that I'm working through. And so this was a book in a series that I'm working through, and then I'll take a break from Douglas Adams. And I guess I'm cheating a little bit. I'm not going to read a continuing series. Technically, yeah, I am and I'm not. So I have read Game of Thrones before. This would be a reread for me. This is not my first time reading Game of Thrones. I haven't read it since my undergrad, probably. Undergrad. Yeah, that sounds right. So I would like to revisit Game of Thrones and actually finish the series, at least the series that's out so far. I have not continued. I think I read the first 2.5 books. I think I stopped somewhere in the third book, which I think is a shame. I wish I had continued. I remember loving Game of Thrones when I read it, so I want to get back into it. And I've seen Bookborn. If you follow Bookborn's channel, I've been enjoying her discovery of Game of Thrones, and I was like, you know, if Bookborn discovered Game of Thrones later in life after the hype, then I can jump back into this and be a later fan. I feel like I missed the Game of Thrones hype. I've not watched the show. I think I watched maybe the first 2 episodes, but that's all I know of the show. And I don't really plan on watching the show. I just want to read the books. So yeah. This will be the next book that I will read that is in my continuing series category. The dogs are just all over me right now. I'm so sorry. so much dog noise. Hopefully you don't mind. Hello, Bailey. Hello. And Evelyn. And Dusty is right here too. So we've got the whole gang here. Okay, next up, I'll continue Words of Radiance. That is a given. I guess I can grab, I should talk about this one. So we are beginning a read along, me and Christy and Dia. I'll link Christy's video down below. I never got around to actually doing a announcement video, so my apologies, but we are reading this. So this is my announcement video. Alanna, the First Adventure. This is the beginning of a quartet, and so we're gonna read the quartet of this series, and then we're gonna also read the next quartet also, which is Protector of the Small. I forget what this one's called. The Lioness? Something like that? Maybe? I forget. Oh, the Song of the Lioness. That's what this is. So please join us. We are going to have live shows around each book. I think we're shooting for the beginning of June for the first live show on this. So I'm really excited. I've read Tamora Pierce before. I actually am not sure I've read this one. I kind of think I've only read Protector of the Small and not these ones. So these are pretty much new for me, like first time reads. Yes, please join us. It will be really fun. And they're not very long and they're not very hard to read. It's going to be a quick read. Also, I love this cover. I'm so glad I bit the bullet. I had a gift card, and so I decided to buy the box set of The Song of the Lioness, and I love this like anime style cover. It's really fun and cartoony, and I really, really, really like it. Okay, so that is on the docket for sure for May and early June. Also, I try to pick a book from my physical shelves, just something that's been languishing for a while. I try to have one in line to read, and I was looking around thinking, what is a book that I either have like picked up and put down, or just for some reason it's been on my shelf for years and I didn't intend it to be. And I decided to pick up Wise Blood by Flannery O'Connor. We, in the past, some of my friends and I did a Flannery O'Connor read along every January. So we would do Flannery January is what we would call it. We recently stopped doing it just because of busyness and life and too many things happening and responsibilities. But I never actually read this one when I was a co-host. I was a co-host for this, but I became super busy that month or something, and I didn't read this. I totally dropped the ball, and I've always regretted that. I wish I had followed through, and so I'm going to go back. I'm going to fix it. I'm going to rectify that mistake. I'm going to read Wise Blood by Flannery O'Connor. And I feel like I haven't read a lot of classics lately. My classics reading has been really light this year in general. And so this is sort of more of like a modern classic, but I was like, it's time for me to do something a little more classic in my reading. So yeah, I'm looking forward to trying out Wise Blood. Flannery O'Connor, I already know I love her, so this will be just really interesting. Oh, looks like I have a note. I have on page 43. I at least got to page 43 because I have a post-it in there. So yeah, I'll restart it, and looking forward to reading some Flannery O'Connor. It's been a while since I've read her. And then the only other book I'm going to throw up here is this from Aardvark Book Club, which I recently joined, which was probably a terrible life plan for me. But I will say, even though I haven't read this yet, I am so impressed by Aardvark's quality of book. I'm also a member of Book of the Month, and I think the quality of these physical hardbacks from Aardvark is way higher than Book of the Month. So I am impressed. Yeah, this was my first Aardvark book box, and so I picked The Buffalo Hunter, which I find to be a strange name. It's the repetition of Hunter, I don't know. It's not really working for me. But it is Stephen Graham Jones, and he's an author I've wanted to try, heard a lot of good things about. And so I don't know if this is like the best place to start with him. If you've read this new release, I would love to know if this is a good place to start. I have on my Kindle, another one. I have Every Heart a Chainsaw or something. I think that's what it's called. I have that on my Kindle. So I've wondered if I should start with that one instead of this one, but it's a standalone, so I guess it doesn't matter. But this is following, I believe, a vampire. This is a vampire story. And so it's been a while also since I've read about some vampires. So yeah, I would like to try this out and see if this is an author that I would like to continue to follow. So yeah, I would like to get to that so that I will also feel better about buying an aardvark box and not having read it yet. So yes. That is what's on the docket for May and probably June also, knowing me. Yeah, it's a lot. It's some big books, some hefty books. And then, of course, if I finish Words of Radiance anytime soon, I will continue with Oathbringer, but I probably won't do Oathbringer until at least June, I would bet. I would be shocked if I finish this in May, but you never know. You never know. I probably will take May and June to finish this and then read Oathbringer. Did I say Oathbreaker? I almost said Oathbreaker. That's not right. Oathbringer. Okay, that is everything that I'm currently reading and wanting to read going forward. So that's my book pile of possibilities. But I've been doing really well with like actually reading things on my TBR and not just dropping them forever. My new system is really working for me when I just pick a book in different categories and then I don't read another book in that category until I finish that one. So here, we'll hold up our stack. There is our stack plus Words of Radiance. It's a good looking stack. I would love a reading update from you. What have you been reading? What are you reading? And what are you looking forward to reading in the month of May? I'd love to hear from you down below in the comments. Thank you so much for watching and for sticking around to the end of this video. And until next time, keep reading great books, and I'll see ya in the next video. Bye-bye.